Hello. Hello everybody, and welcome to the second installment of SteelHeart's History Channel. I'm Karl Vasone, and this is the SteelHeart History Channel. Today, we're going to watch a video from the second album, Tangled in Rains, called Sticky Side Up. This is probably one of my favorite tracks off the album, and I think you'll enjoy it. Let's watch. There you go. SteelHeart. Rock on, baby. I call this the 10 minutes of power opposed to the hour of power which most musicians need, because SteelHeart only needs 10 minutes. I want to backtrack a little today and bring you back to the very early 80s, where SteelHeart formed as a band at that time called Red Alert. They basically rehearsed in Norwalk, Connecticut on Wall Street at Showcase Studios, and they honed their skills there and basically played clubs in and around the Fairfield County, Connecticut, and New York State area. They used to pack the house with friends, family, and unsuspecting patrons that became SteelHeart fans after that night was over. They played basically cover tunes: AC/DC, Sin City, Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, Judas Priest, You Got Another Thing Coming, and Led Zeppelin. You know, basically Led Zeppelin was probably one of Mike's best fortes. He can pretty much duplicate, as you can see on the Immigrant Song, on the recent tours they did out in California and Las Vegas. Closest reproduction I've ever heard. Anyway, back in those days, they played a lot of clubs. They backed up bands at the Agora Ballroom. The Hunt from Canada at the time was an up-and-coming band. They backed up Talus with Billy Sheehan, who was more famous for playing with David Lee Roth Band and Mr. Big. They played behind Joe Perry Project. When Joe Perry was out on his own touring, they backed up to him in Norwalk, Connecticut. And, you know, they honed their skills as a rock band and developed their own original sound. They went through a lot of hard times and hit the pavement pretty hard back in those days, looking for a record contract. They had one producer, and then they had another, and eventually led them out to L.A., where they landed a contract with MCA Records. Thus, MCA Records, SteelHeart's first album, and Tangled in Rains. I was able to watch firsthand as this band grew and continues to grow to this day. Their music has changed, but it's still unmistakably SteelHeart. Millie Matevich has worked hard all these years to keep this band together, and I think the outcome, the final product of this album, Good to Be Alive, is a testament to that. If you don't have the album, I suggest you go out and get it, because it'll blow you right out of your shoes. Basically, back in those days, Chris Rizzola was my guitar teacher, and he developed his technique and his technical background from a jazz musician that he took lessons from and was his mentor, Link Chamberlain. So Chris Rizzola's roots are basically from back then jazz and fusion, and developed into a real hard-rocking, technical, great guitar player. Millie Miljenko has got a voice unlike no other that I've ever heard, and I don't think we ever will hear again. But basically, I'm very fortunate to have some demo tapes that are lost archive tapes that I'm sending out to Millie. I just was in contact with him, and he'll know what to do with them when he gets them. But they are unreleased songs to this date. I think everybody will be very happy to hear some of the old stuff before they were even famous. And that's up to Millie what he wants to do with it. Anyway, they just played 3 dates out in L.A. and Las Vegas, and if you need to be refreshed on their talent, you need to go to YouTube and check out SteelHeart in California and Las Vegas. Anyway, it's a long time since those days back in the early 80s, and they've gone through a lot of changes. They've been through a lot of adversity. Back in the 90s, Millie had, basically been shunned by MCA North America, but he did very well in Korea, in the Asian market, and had still a contract with MCA Europe. That's when the Wait album came out. If you're not all too familiar with it, you can check it out. On the SteelHeart DVD, there are some videos and some live footage filmed in Japan and overseas that are quite intriguing. So, with that, I'd like to end this segment by saying Good to Be Live is out now at Best Buy and on SteelHeart.com. You can find the other albums on Amazon and eBay. For the SteelHeart History Channel, this is Karl Vasone, and until next time, stay well and peace. Love you, man.